Behind the Shades.
Start working on yourself, because if you're not a healthy partner, you can't be if you can be a healthy human being, you cannot be a healthy partner, right? We have to understand the baggage that we carry. We have to take responsibility for the relationship that did not work. And what I mean, not blaming the other person. It's two to tango, right? There's something that I did in my marriage or relationship that wasn't up to par for my partner, right? So I had to look back and say, maybe I didn't listen well, or maybe I argued too much, or asked too much, or too little. I don't know, but I had to really step back and say, I did some of this. My expectation was too high. Like I at one part of my relationship, my happiness depended on my partner. If he called me, I was happy, right? If he was around me, it was the best day. And if he wasn't, I felt empty and sadness. And I had to, again, it goes back to, we have to love ourselves. Nobody can make us happy. Nobody can fill those empty little holes. They can add to our joy, but they cannot be the joy. And I went to therapy. Look, I've did self-help books. I've embraced all kind of self-development. I don't think anyone can do it on their own. They have to have some support and accountability. Take that,
What type of, were you surprised at some of the expectations or were you surprised at some of the behaviors that you identified within yourself that you found not to be beneficial to your relationships?
Well, yes, and again, it all goes back to me, right? I needed my partners at certain time to be my everything. I also suffocated some of them. Like I wanted to just be around. I love really big, like, is it doubtful? I don't know, but I love really big. And sometimes it's a lot for a broken person, right? Right? If the person it has not healed himself, there's a great saying, Tony Robbins, he explained that I may be healed on level 8 and my partner is on level 2. So the love I have for myself is on level 8. And this person doesn't understand that love, and I'm pouring it into him. He's freaking out. She's like, "You're suffocating me." That's the word they use. There's no balance. It's not enough for me because they don't know how to give love, and I give too much. And they either did not respond, ignore my phone calls, didn't speak to me for weeks, then show up out of the blue. And it's tough. And it's hard to, you meet someone, you don't know their baggage, you don't know their story until you're digging in, and then you're too deep to get out. So you're trying to balance that level 8 or level, 2. How do you come to that communication again, right? Communication and patience and things like that. Again, I'm going to hurt people. And the people that heal himself cannot heal the hurt people when they're not ready to heal themselves. You can pour all of your love and support. They don't feel worthy. And that's what one of my partners said to me. I don't feel worthy of your love. And he consistently sabotaged, did something horrible to push me away. But I love so deeply. I kept on coming for more. But I learned a lot, right? I learned how I should be treated. And I can't, self-worth came from self-hurt, if that makes sense.
It does. And one example that I like to give is that each and every one of us has multiple cups. We have a cup of love, we have a cup of happiness, and mine may be overflowing with love, or with happiness, like you love big and you like to give all this love, but you're pouring into the other person's cup when there's a hole in it. So it doesn't
Yes.
ever fill up. And they're looking at you confused because if you ever, anyone who's watching this, if you've ever held a cup with a hole, when someone's pouring into it, you're like, what is this crazy person doing? It's not filling up, right? But that's how sometimes they would react to you because you're doing something that is not getting the results that you want. And when it comes to relationships, that's something that I had to learn, because just because I want something really badly doesn't mean I'm going to get it, because the relationship is not a one-way street. It's a two-way street, and there's going to be curves. There's going to be stop signs. There's going to be ditches. There's going to be broken roads, right? There's going to be all these things. And what I would like to tell those listening is that my situation, Irene's situation, is that we want people to learn from what we have done, because I'm learning and I'm sure you're learning. But Irene, share with us some of the things that you've learned years after the fact, or maybe some of the things that you've learned today, for example.
I'm going back to myself, right? I learned through all those difficult moments in my life that I have to love myself. I have to be in love with myself before I can love someone else. And when I see the red signs, I go, like, I've learned that I cannot help you if you don't want to help yourself. I'm a team player. We'll do it together. But you have to give a little bit. And I've also learned I am not overstaying in any relationship anymore. I can only help so much. And I can't. Well, it's been many years that I had been single. So I'm scared, but I'm excited. I also feel I'd rather be heard than never loved. Through love is a beautiful thing. And I think everybody wants it. And, we need love, right? And I've learned that even though through the hurt, I will do it again and again and again and again and again and again. And what I've learned is patience is the virtue, and not to rush into relationship. And the most important thing I also learned is that it's not about being right. It's about being more in peace. And it's okay sometimes to say you're sorry. Even though sometimes you may not want to, but you don't have to be right all the time, right? Like, people want to fight, and in the end of the conversation, somebody wants to win, but it's not about winning. It's about compromising. And, it takes maturity, it takes time. And in some ways, I wanted to win. I wanted to win instead of having, let's come to a conclusion together. I wanted to, like, you were wrong and I was right.